know who needs to hear this. And again, I don't have any children. I've just been a daughter all my life. I do have a brother, and so I could say what worked for me and what worked for him. So with that thought in mind, let's normalize giving young boys the guidance that they're going to need in consistency with the level of responsibility that is going to be expected of them as men. Let's stop perpetuating the narrative that boys are easier and girls are harder. Because actually in my Bible, I don't know what Bible you read, but in my Bible, it says husbands are supposed to love their wives as Christ loved the church. Christ died on a cross, carried it all the way up to Calvary with a crown of thorns on his head, hung, bled, and died a horrible death for a church that he knew while he was hanging up there was disrespectful and unloving and unkind, and half of them didn't even believe in him. That's the kind of sacrifice that men are called to as husbands. Women are never called to that kind of sacrifice in the Bible. That sounds hard to me. Don't it sound hard to you? Additionally, it says that if men don't treat their wives with sensitivity and kindness, that their prayers will be hindered. You know what that means? Guess we know why some men get mysteriously unsuccessful after certain breakups. The point is, what is required of men is hard. So we need to stop perpetuating the narrative that they're easier, letting them sit on the couch and do nothing while their sister cleans up all the dishes, letting them go outside and play while you give their sister an hour-long narrative about how she needs to keep her legs closed. Much more is going to be required of a boy when he becomes a man. So he should be given more guidance, more talks, more difficult tests, because more is going to be required of him. And we cannot let him sit on the couch or play video games or go outside and play while we're giving his sister all of this instruction and then get mad when the next generation doesn't raise their children right and doesn't want to get married. And so, in the spirit of giving and sharing, I thought I would share with you a couple of things that my mom and dad did for my brother that honestly have made him the most dependable man that I know. Honestly, I'm not just saying it. Number one, he was immediately being groomed as a gentleman. He was not allowed to sit around and suck his thumb and act like a baby. No, whatever my dad was required to do as a gentleman, he was teaching my brother. So if my dad had to get out of the car and open up our car door, he would be like, come on, son, we got to open up the car door. When it was time to pay the tab, come on, son, we going to pay the tab. You get where I'm going with this? Whatever was required of my dad as a gentleman, he included my brother in that. So he was pulling out my chair and opening my door for me and helping me with my coat, honestly, when he was 10 years old, because when he was 5, my dad and mom started teaching him. The number 2 thing that my parents did once my brother became a teenager and he wanted to date, they were always open to whatever he wanted to share. They never gave him any judgment. It was always an open forum. But when he started wanting to date, my parents made it clear that having a girlfriend is a responsibility. So they never treated it like, oh yeah, son, just go out and have fun. Oh yeah, son, if she gets pregnant, she's a fast girl. We're going to rally behind you and get a paternity test and make sure it's not yours because our son does no wrong. No, they were like, oh no, son, you're expected to be even more responsible than we expect your sister to be, because at the end of the day, if you go out this door with this girl that you're attracted to and you pull something out and y'all make a baby, even though we've given you full instructions of how to protect yourself and how not to allow that to happen, then you are going to be responsible for that girl and that baby. There's going to be no coming up in here talking about that's not my child. Yes, it is, because you lay down with her. So you're going to be responsible. You're going to take care of her. You're going to take care of that child. And my brother would be like, but I'm in high school. And they said, well, you better not pull nothing out then. Have fun. I'm sure you can tell by now that my parents were comedians. In addition, during the adolescent years, my brother got what I like to call his man's training. If I was expected to be in the kitchen helping my mom with Thanksgiving dinner and my dad had a job mixing cement somewhere, my brother was required to go. If there was a bill that had to be paid and my dad had to go talk to the customer service people, my brother was required to go. If my dad had to get out of his bed at the middle of the night and change a tire or come to my rescue or my mom's rescue, my brother was not encouraged but required to come. Until it got to the point where once he got to be grown, my dad didn't have to go at all. We could really call my brother. And honestly, he is the most dependable, responsible man that I know. And if I asked any of the girls he knows or any of his friends, they would say the same thing. I think I'm gonna post him up here, somewhere so you guys can see. Let it be beautiful. Let it be I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you want to see any other videos on this topic.